Welcome to Hypnotic Confidence Podcast. I'm Ivana, RTT hypnotherapist and a transformational coach, and I will be your host. Together, we'll uncover the secrets to breaking free from self-doubt, quieting the inner critic, and embracing life with unwavering confidence. Whether you want to excel in your career, improve relationships, or simply embark on a journey of self-improvement, this podcast will provide you with tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to create lasting change by harnessing the power of your subconscious mind. So, if you're ready to rewrite your subconscious programming and awaken your hypnotic confidence, join me in the episode ahead. I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while, and honestly, I had no idea that today will be the day. But I had in mind the topic of teaching you how to identify your subconscious beliefs. And I was meaning to write it out in a newsletter for my audience, but then I realized it would be much easier for you to follow if it's an audio or a video format. And so here we are doing the first episode. I hope you'll find it helpful. As I mentioned, you will learn 2 simple ways how to identify your subconscious beliefs by using your emotions. Growing up, since I can remember, I was feeling really, really intense emotions and struggling with that a lot, especially because I grew up in an environment where emotions weren't really welcomed, to say the least, where I was discouraged from sharing my emotion, displaying my emotion, where I didn't really learn how to emotionally regulate. And it created huge issues for me growing up and in my young adulthood. The best way I could have dealt with it, the best way that I could come up with as a little kid, was to suppress those emotions the best that I could, which wasn't easy because they were really intense. So I got myself in this very blocked state where I felt very numb and I didn't really feel a lot. But then the emotions that I did feel were very difficult to handle and manage, and I just had difficulty feeling them, having them in my body at all. So when I unlocked that room in my body where I stored and locked all these emotions for all these years, when I started to go to therapy, it was quite a journey. There was a lot that came out that I had to deal with over the years. And so my journey with emotions is still ongoing, to be honest. And I'm learning how to befriend my emotions and how to have a more uh, benevolent, more beneficial, more better relationship with my emotions, let's say. And the more I'm going down on my personal and spiritual development journey, which is ongoing now for about a decade in a very intense way, I am learning the value of emotions, and I'm also learning the language of emotions. So how to decipher emotions, how to decipher the language, the message that the emotions carry. You know, if you're anything like me and living in this society where emotions aren't really welcomed. Display of emotions isn't really welcomed. It has to be in a certain way. We have to present our emotion in a certain way, package them in a certain way so that it would be accepted, that people would feel comfortable with accepting our emotion or emotion in general, we find it beautiful when someone expresses their emotion in a way that feels good to us, but as soon as it starts to make us uncomfortable, we turn on that person and we start to reject them. And the reason for that is because we're not accepting of our own emotions, and we're rejecting our own emotions because that's what we learned when we were growing up. And it creates a huge issue for us. It creates a huge problem for us because the emotion is how the subconscious mind is actually communicating with us, how our subconscious mind is telling us what is going on within us and what are the beliefs that we are holding that are creating what we are going through. About 85% of our life is created and directed by our subconscious mind. This is because our subconscious mind is responsible for the automatic behavior, for the things that happen automatically in our body without us having to be consciously involved with what's going on. So oftentimes subconscious is being seen as this murky, dark part of us that is messing up our life and we have no control over it. And this is not exactly true. Because of our subconscious mind, we're able to talk, we're able to walk, we're able to brush our teeth, we're able to think, we're able to express ourselves, we're able to do so much in our daily life because it's automatic. We're able to drive, we're able to cook, we're able to get around. We're able to do absolutely almost everything because of our subconscious mind. Imagine if you had to consciously control your heartbeat, your breath, your digestion, your how words are being formed. I'm able to talk to you right now because of my subconscious mind, and I'm doing it automatically. And my conscious mind is playing a minor role in just filtering and directing what's coming out of my mind. So that is the incredible value that our subconscious mind has in our life. It's also directing how we act in relationships. It directs how we act when there's danger. It directs how we act at work, in social situations. And this is where it could become a problem. All right. This is where our subconscious mind can potentially start creating problems for us because we have some instructions within our subconscious mind that are creating behaviors, thoughts, and actions that we don't really want to have, that don't really benefit us. And that's when we want to change what's going on within our subconscious mind, right? We don't want to change things that are serving us and that we're doing great. If we're great at brushing teeth and we don't want to change that. So we have no desire to influence our subconscious in that. But when it comes to how we react in a fight, or the fact that we can't go and ask for a raise or negotiate with our boss or our client because we are afraid, then that's something that we want to influence and change. And that's natural, that's amazing. And the good news is that we can do it. We just have to learn how. And that was the biggest discovery of my personal spiritual development journey. That is that I can identify what's going on within my subconscious mind and change it. And change it quickly and efficiently, which is the most important thing. So if we want to change something, the first step to it is to identify what is there, right? We can't change, or better word would be replace, because we're not really changing the beliefs. We're letting go of the old ones and then we're replacing them with new ones that actually serve us. And in order to do that, in order to replace that old belief, we need to first identify what is that belief that is stopping us, that is sabotaging us, that is not serving us in a way that we want it to serve us. And the gateway to that identification is your emotion. And that's where the great news comes in, because your emotions are the messengers from your subconscious mind. When we say the subconscious or unconscious, we're afraid that there's something going on within us that is creating all these things and we're not aware of it and we don't have access to it. But that's not actually true. We always have access to our subconscious mind through our emotions. So it's not something that is happening outside of our awareness. It's not something that cannot be identified. It's there. It's just we're sometimes not aware of our emotions. We're not accepting our emotions because of, again, the programming that we have around the emotions, and that we need to suppress or reject them or keep them on the down low or somewhere in the back as something, as a nuisance, as something that's not important, that just makes our life inconvenient, which is absolutely not true. So how do we go about it? So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about the situation that makes you feel fearful, angry, disappointed, whatever is the emotion, negative emotion that you're feeling about a certain situation that you're going through, whether it's at work, in your relationships with your family, in social situations, maybe you have a big presentation coming up, whatever it is. Think about that situation. And then I want you to dive into your body. And I want you to identify the emotion behind that situation. And I want you to say after me. So say this out loud. I feel, and then finish that sentence. Just without thinking, the first thing that comes to your mind, let yourself relax, sink into your body, and say after me one more time, I feel, and finish that sentence. And then say after me one more time, I feel, whatever the emotion is, because, and finish that sentence. And that means, finish that sentence. And that means, finish that sentence. So you're following this pattern of I feel, filling in the blank, because, filling in the blank, and that means, filling in the blank, and then you continue with and that means, and that means, and that means, until you get to a place where you can't really go further, where it feels like you can't go further. And when you get to that place, that is the core belief that is behind what you are going through. So let me give you an example. I could say, let's say you're going through situation at work where they're asking of you to work much more than you are prepared to work and that you feel capable of physically. It makes you tired or drained and you just don't feel appreciated or valued at work, and you're not really sure how to stand up for yourself. And so then you can say, this situation makes me feel not heard, not valued, not appreciated, because they're not taking in my opinion, they're not listening to my side. And that means I don't matter. And that means I'm not worthy. So these two statements of what it means, I don't matter and I'm not worthy, are core beliefs, core subconscious core subconscious beliefs that you just identified that are running your thoughts, creating your thoughts. So beliefs act as a source from which thoughts and then new feelings emerge. So if you have a core belief that is, I don't matter and I'm not worthy, then that will create a thought like, even if I say something, they won't listen to me. I have no power. I can't stand up for myself. If I stand up for myself, it will only get worse. So those are the thoughts and the beliefs that are emerging from that core belief. And they feel true to you. And this is why you can't act on it, because the beliefs that you're holding feel true to you, feel real to you. They don't feel like beliefs. That's the whole thing with beliefs. They don't feel like beliefs. They feel like truth. They feel like like reality. They feel like that's what's happening, and that's what's going to happen if I do anything about it. But they're not necessarily true. And the realization of that is what is opening up the door to replacing those beliefs with beliefs that are actually serving you. Examining, letting go, and replacing those old beliefs is exactly what we're going to dive into within the next episodes of the Hypnotic Confidence podcast. So I hope you're going to join me for those. And if you feel really inspired and excited about this topic and you can't wait for the next episode, you want to dive in deeper right away, you can go to the description box or the show notes where I'm going to leave the link for the free Emanate Effortless Confidence Masterclass that I hosted, where you can dive deeper into the topic of how to create that effortless confidence in the topic that we were talking about today, and also experience a free guided hypno session for yourself. So go check out that link and access that masterclass. You can watch it right away if you'd like. Please like, subscribe, share this with people who you think would benefit and like this content. And thank you so much for being here with me. I'm your host, Ivana, and until the next episode of the Hypnotic Confidence podcast, I wish you all the best.